Yo, what's up guys, it's Victon here with a crafting guide for you guys on the Skeleton Mage Necromancer. I just released the in-game build guide of this character, and in it I said I was going to release the crafting guide for all of the items required for the build, so that's what this is going to be. We're going to go over the weapon here, how we get this, we're going to go over the helmet, and we're going to go over the gloves, as well as we're going to go over this large cluster, which gives you a gigaton of damage. Okay, so the first one that we're going to do is we're going to go over the wand. So what we're looking for here is +1 to level of all spell skill gems and +1 to level of all minion gems. And the third most important is trigger socketed spell when you use a skill with an 8-second cooldown. That automates pretty much all of the item. It automates basically Bone Offering and your Desecrate. So super good to have, very huge quality of life. And here's how we're going to craft it. We're going to go over here to Craft of Exile, and I will walk you guys exactly through how to craft this, and you will actually see me craft one in the emulator up here. Okay, so it's going to be with fossil crafting. We are going to use a max 4 socket resonator. We're going to be using corroded, jagged, metallic, and shuddering. Okay, there is one piece that I'll talk about here in the end after I talk about this wand. This is the base wand that we're going to craft here. There is a min-max version of the wand, which I will also show you guys, so we'll talk about that here in a second, but let's go ahead and get the kind of the base craft out of the way here. So let's go over to the emulator. Here's our wand here, and like I said, we're going to craft this one together. Again, corroded, jagged, metallic, and shuddering, and let's see how long it takes us to get it. On average, you should take 12 to get it. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got it on 6. Not too bad, not too bad. We didn't get actually we did get pretty good rolls. We got minion damage, we got minion increased attack speed and cast speed, which is pretty low roll. And then we got minion life. Hey, that's not actually bad. So technically some people are good when you hit this and this alone. Some people don't need that trigger socketed spells. So you could be done here, but if you do, for like example, our build, the Skeleton Mages, we do need that trigger socketed spells. So here's what you're going to do. There is a relatively deterministic way to do it. It starts with an RNG process though. But however, if you hit it correctly, it's going to work every time after that. So here's what you do. Sadly, you annul. We're going to annul, and we're going to hope that we don't hit level of, we're going to hope that we don't get rid of one of these. We obviously need these two as our most important ones. If we remove this top prefix, it's okay. And if we remove any of the suffixes, we're okay. It's best to remove any of the suffixes, because if that happens, you're basically done after that. You can just craft on the trigger socketed spells craft and you're done. So let's go ahead and hit it and just see what happens. Oh, sweet Jesus. So we failed. So what we would have to do is kind of start the whole process over again. For time's sake, I'm just going to undo, and we're going to hit it again, and hopefully, okay, so we're good. So we got actually the suffix removed, which is best case scenario. So we're going to go over to the bench. We're going to go over to suffixes, and then we're going to hit this trigger socketed craft or socketed spell when you use craft, and there you go, you're done. So actually this is a pretty good wand. This is actually a really crazy wand. Minions have 31% increased maximum life, and minions have increased damage. This is a crazy wand. Wow, we did good. Very good. Let's go over what would happen if you hit a prefix though. Let's see if we can get that going. So let's remove this, and then let's go back one. And then let's go back one, and let's go back another one. All right, now let's hit this annulment until we get off this prefix up here. Let's take a little bit, but let's see if we can do it. We're just gonna go up, back. We're gonna go undo, back. Come on, you can do it. There we go. All right, so here's what happens if you remove that top prefix. We're actually going to beastcraft. So we're going to do beastcraft, and we're going to do suffix to prefix. So remove a suffix, add a new prefix. Here you would probably want to get rid of that cast speed. Let's see what we can do. Hey, and we did. Okay, so we removed the cast speed over there, and we added, it doesn't really matter what you add on here, the prefix, but we got an open suffix, which that means we're going to go back to our benchcraft and our suffixes, and we're going to do that trigger socketed spells, and we're going to add that, and there you go, we're done. Another actually pretty good wand. It's a little bit low attack speed, or I'm sorry, cast speed, but hey, what can you do? Now, here's the other way that you can do it. If you want to spend a little bit more currency, you can make it a little bit better depending on how good or bad your rolls were. So let's say you got really stupid, completely worthless suffixes, right? And you want kind of to get a little bit something better. Here's what you would do. Instead of just going ahead and crafting that trigger socketed spell, you're going to actually undo that. So before you do that, you're going to actually go over to the suffixes, and you're going to go prefixes cannot be changed. We're going to craft that. That is actually a 2 exalt craft. We're going to craft that, and then we're actually going to scour it. So we're going to scour it, and it's going to remove all of the suffixes. Bam. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to craft can have up to 3 crafted modifiers. So we're going to put that on there, and now we're also going to put the trigger socketed spells, and then we're also going to put minions have increased cast speed. So there you go. So with that one, it's just a little bit better because now we're going to have the 15% increase of cast speed as well, which is very, very good for our minions. So there you go. That is a wand, and that's how you do it. It's really not too bad. Now, how you would get the sort of next level craft is very RNG based, and that's why there's so many of these that are created. I'm going to go back here to the calculator and show you the mod that you're going to be looking to get. I'm going to turn off the resonator or the fractured here. Let's turn off fossils. Actually, we're gonna have to take that off. We're gonna take this off, this off, this off, just to show you guys. So we're gonna make it a influence Crusader. So when we influence Crusader, that's going to open up Zealotry. Zealotry has increased aura effect, so that is a suffix. Okay, so Zealotry has 34 to 40% increase aura effect as the suffix there. We're going to click that, and it has a pretty low chance of getting that as well. But there is one thing you got to kind of understand is when you get this, you're only getting. So let me show you here. I'm kind of skipping ahead, but you know what? I might even do another video on this instead, because this is definitely for the min-max kind of version of the wand itself. And there's like 5 or 6 more steps that you might want to do for this one, and it makes the wand jump from, like, I don't know, a 10-15 exalt wand up to a 30 to 60 exalt wand. So I'm probably actually going to save that one for the min-maxed version of the crafting, but just know that that is kind of what you're aiming for eventually, is to have a Crusader wand, and it also have Zealotry has increased aura effect. So what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to show you what that looks like. We're going to go over here, and I'm going to type in wand min-maxed in the skeleton mage league starter, like, better PoE trading thing here, and as you can tell, it jumps up in price significantly. There's actually only 2 listed on the market right now, and these are even better than just regularly crafted wands. These are actually crazy, but that's what you're looking for right there, is that Zealotry has increased aura effect, and you can get that either by exalt slamming the Crusader, or by just crafting this on a Crusader wand itself and getting lucky, basically. So that's why it costs so much more, but it is very, very good to get that, and it's going to boost your damage significantly. If you want to see that, let's even do this. Let's copy one of these. Let's copy the 64 one, and let's literally go to our POB and see how much that influences our damage here. So let's copy and let's paste it in here. We're going to apply it to the build, and then we're going to put this instead of my personal wand, and it goes from 17 to almost 20 million DPS. Super solid. So that gave us quite a bit of damage, which is very, very good. Again, and that's min-maxing, right? You don't have to do that. You can do that if you want, if you're min-maxing, you got nothing else to do. All right, that is the wand. Let's move on to our helmet. Now, if you guys can remember from the guide that I just released, the helmet is actually quite important. Here's the helmet that we're going to be crafting. There's a couple things that are very important on this helmet. The most important, of course, probably is the +3 to socketed minion gems, but that's very easy to get. The one thing that makes this tricky is we're going to get that on an item that also has 8% or above increased mana reservation efficiency, because we're going to combo that mana reservation efficiency with the mana reservation efficiency with our amulet, and also with our gloves. Or if you don't have the gloves, you can at least just do the 2. You're always going to have the Ashes of Stars, and you should always have this helmet, but some people might or might not have the Breast Stealer, also having Charisma on there to even further help us with our mana reservation. But you will at least have the helmet, and you will at least have the Ashes of Stars. And that was awkward. Hold on, let me... And we're good. We had a guest star there. That is Brodka, our mapping partner. I forgot to mute. Apologies. Okay, so... that is the helmet. Let's go ahead and go back in here, and let's open it up and show you guys. So to get that +3 to minion socketed gems, you need to make sure that you have item level 86 or above. If you do not have item level 86 or above, you will not get +3 to minion socketed gems. And it is very important for our Animate Guardian and for our Spectres to have as much life as possible, so that when you're doing very difficult content, they will have as much life to survive, and you don't have them dying all the time, which they really never should die in the first. Even if you have +2, they're probably never going to die, but getting the +3 really solidifies it, and they're just never going to die. Okay, it's also very important to note here that we will not be doing this on an Elder base, because you cannot use the new Exarch and Eater of Worlds crafting materials if it's on any influenced items. So typically we actually do use Elder Helmets so that we can get the, for example, plus 16, plus 18, plus 20 minion life gems. We don't need that in this build. And this is the helmet that I've been using, and as you guys could see in the gameplay showcase in the guide, I was doing some crazy content, and I didn't need it. I just needed the minion life gem in the helmet. I didn't need it actually on the helmet, so no worries there if you guys are worried about losing that. Okay, so let's go back. So no influence, item level 86 or above. I would suggest doing this on an armor-based Eternal Burgonet, by the way. We're going to proceed. And those are very cheap, by the way, to get the base of this. It's literally like a couple chaos to start crafting this. Okay, so there's a couple things that you want to do here. First and foremost is that we are going to get the base item completed. Once we get the base item completed, at that point we will start getting the mana reservation efficiency, because there's a certain strategy that you have to do in order to get it, and there's a couple cool things with the new currency that you could do to kind of increase your odds of getting pretty good rolls on your helmet. So we're actually going to be using fossil crafting, and we're going to be going with just bound here. So single fossil, and we're going to do bound, and we're going to spam it until we get that +3 with maybe a good other roll or two. So let's just kind of see what happens here. So +2, no good, so +3. So what do we have here? We have 2 prefixes and 2 suffixes. Now let's go back to our helmet, and I'm going to show you guys something very important. You need to have an open prefix. And the reason we're going to have an open prefix is for that +1 to maximum number of skeletons. Very, very important. To be honest with you guys, I would probably suggest doing this until you get, that is if you were doing a min-maxed or in-game / min-max version of the build, try and do it to get up to a life craft on there as well. That would be my suggestion for sure. But if you can't, there's a couple tricky things that we can do. Like, let's see what we can do with this one. So technically we have a suffix, and we have 2 suffixes and 2 prefixes. So we could do a couple interesting things here. As you could note on mine, we're able to multi-mod this and get a couple extra stats. So technically you could multi-mod it and get the zombies plus the +3 minion socketed gems and some life. Technically you could do that, and you would just miss out on, like, some resistances. So let's just do that, right? Because that's kind of a minimum of what you want. So with this new currency, there's some pretty cool things that you can do with it. So let's read what it does. We're going to add in, so there's lesser embers. What we're mainly going to be doing here is using lesser and then greater ichors. So let's go over to the, let's just choose a greater ichor here. No, I'm sorry, let's choose a lesser ichor. We're going to throw that on there. And then now you can do these items right here. So let's read this. Annul. If the Searing Exarch, so that's the red one, is dominant, remove a prefix. Okay? So we do not want the Searing Exarch to be dominant, right? We actually want the Eater of Worlds to be dominant, because that's going to remove a suffix. So what that means is we actually need a greater ichor, okay? Greater ichor is basically tier 2. So let's throw that on there. Or actually, you know what? It's already there, because the lesser is tier 0 right now, basically, because it's not on there. We have you could even do a lesser, it really doesn't matter. So we have that on there. The blue one is dominating, so we're going to annul, and it's going to remove a suffix. Okay, we're going to do that. And then bam, there you go. It's deterministic, right? So actually super, super solid there. So we just removed a suffix, and at this point, we could be happy with, we could go another one. And then at that point, we could multi-mod. We can go to the bench. We can come down here. We can do suffixes. We can do, can have multiple crafted. You would do plus. We could have the. We'll go to prefixes. We'll go to raise number of skeletons, and then another suffix. You could do whatever. You could do lightning and chaos, right? So technically, there you go. That's a completed item. Fantastic. We got +3 to level of minion gems. We got the +1 to skeletons, and we got a resist on there with some chaos res. Technically, this is done. But if you really wanted life, there's something else you could do. So let's undo all these. Let's even undo one more. And you know what we can actually even do? Let's go ahead and just annul it and get off that suffix, and let's just keep it here. So technically you could have a 50-50 shot of removing this armor. If you really want to risk it for the biscuit, you could do that. So let's do that, and I'll show you what that process looks like. So in order to remove a prefix, the red stuff needs to be higher than the blue, right? So we want a level 1 blue, and we're going to put that on there. And then now we want a level 2 red. Okay, so it's going to be higher than the 1, so it's going to be dominating it. Okay, so you're going to put that on there. And it doesn't even matter what the crafts are, by the way. It doesn't even matter. So the red is higher than the blue right now, which means that when we use an annul, it's going to remove one of these mods. And it's a 50-50 chance, and we just pray to RNGesus that it works for us, and here we go. Wow, bad. Okay, so if that happens, you start over. You go back to bound fossil crafting. But let's just say that we hit it. So let's go back here and bam, we hit it, right? So now this is a juicy little one mod item. So at that point, we're going to go to the bench. We're going to go to suffixes. We're going to go down to can have up to 3 crafted modifiers. We're going to add on that. We're going to go up to the prefixes. We're going to add on bench, and then we're going to go to where is it? Skeletors. Oh, it's down here, I think, right? There it is. Oh, it was already selected. We're going to add Skeletors, and then we're going to add life, right? There you go. Oh, that was a really bad life roll. Let's do it again, just because it made me emo. There you go. So technically, this could be a completed item as well. So you got some life, you got the skeletons, and you got the +3 to level socket and minion gems. So let's just say that's what we wanted. We're happy with it. Great, right? So at this point, we are now going to actually use these Ichors to get the mana reservation efficiency. So I'm going to go over here and show you what the chances of rolling that are, because they kind of suck. Let's go down here to so it's an Eater of Worlds, so it's the blue ones, so just note that. And then increased mana reservation efficiency of skills. Now it starts from a tier 1 is going to give you 7%. I used the tier 2, which is the greater, and I got 8%. If you really want to go ham, you could do these other ones, which is fine as well. But it is a 1.5% chance to craft it. So about maybe, I don't know what the heck that is. That's like, yeah, I don't know. It's bad. It's really low, right? It's really low. It's going to take us a long time to do it. So I will do some of these with you guys. I'm going to hope that I might just ban this and just kind of see if we can hit it. And hopefully it doesn't take too long. For me, I think I got it around, when I did it, I got it around 60. So it is, you know, oh, I'm on the gloves now. So it does take a little bit of currency to get this going. But it's really not too bad compared to the fact that when people normally buy minion helmets, you know, they're spending like 5-10 exalts on these things. So far, we're honestly at like, I don't know, 50 chaos, like tops, 50-60 chaos. So it's really not too bad. We got our fossils and 2 fossils. That's like, I don't know, 18 chaos. Yeah, very, very cheap so far, very cheap. So, okay, let's just hit this. We're going to go, we don't want the annul, we want to do greater Ichors. Again, if you really want, you could do grand or exceptional, but at a minimum, do the greater. So let's hit this, and let's just keep going here. Let's keep going. I'm terrified that I'm going to miss it, so I'm like very focused. Missing it would be very bad. Now, one thing that kind of irks me is I hate these mods. While an enemy is in your, or while a unique enemy is in your presence, like that's not going to happen that often. The worst one is actually this one. When a pinnacle boss is in your presence, like get out of here, man. Not everybody even does the fight. What do you mean? And it has so much weighting too. Mana regeneration rate feels bad. We were so close. We can do it. We can do it. Mana regeneration rate. Mana regeneration rate. Come on. Well, I also don't want to make you guys sit here and just watch me click 10,000 times. But as you guys can tell, you know, it's not quick. It's not quick. You know what? While we're doing this, though, let's kind of take a quick second here. Let's look at Grand Ichor prices. So I am curious just to know, kind of show you guys what this would kind of look like as far as costs. Let's go to bulk item pickup. Let's go to the Grand Ichor, which is down here somewhere. Eldritch currency, Grand Ichor. Let's just do, I don't know, 2, whatever. So yeah, they're really not too bad. I mean, you can buy 20 for 35 chaos. So, you know, if it costs you 100 to do, so you're looking at like, you know, I don't know, 120 chaos. That's really not too bad. That's not too bad. Let's go. So that's basically an exalt, right? That's basically an exalt to get it. That's not too bad. What's bad? Oh, we got it. Thank bejesus. What's bad is sitting here clicking for hours and not getting it. Not hours. I exaggerate, but okay, we got it. So 9% increased mana reservation efficiency of skills, very good. So not too bad. And actually we already had minions have increased movement speed, which is the second best one. If we go over here to look at the crafting mods, the best one that you can get is, let's type in minions here. And we'll go down, and we'll go down. Minions have, there you go. So those are the two mods that are the best for the red currency. Minions have increased life, and minions have movement speed. So we're actually looking for minions have life, and here's the rolls here. Really not too bad. You know, 17 and 19% increased life, really not bad. And you would do like a greater ember here, and you would just keep going, right, until you get here. Let's see what the crafting is here. So it's a 3.8% chance. It's actually not as bad. Let's just do it for good measure, right? Oh, we got the movement speed again. We can do it, boys. We can do it. Minions have, there you go. That actually was not too bad at all. So minions have 17% increased life. There you go. There's our helmet. Super solid helmet. Very, very good helmet. And it really did not take too much currency to craft that. Cool. So let's go to the next item here, which is going to be our gloves. These are actually even cheaper to craft. Now, these are the gloves that you're going to use if you're not using the Breath Stealer. These are about 4.5 Exalt gloves, the Breath Stealer gloves, and they're mainly good for like Delirium content or for Simulacrum farming, when you have so many rare monsters that you're going to be able to kill to drop the little spore pods to poop out some headhunter buffs, right? If you're not doing that, if you're just mainly doing like boss farming, it's not as good to have the Breath Stealer. The only reason at that point you would want the Breath Stealer is for the anoint, for the charisma there, to then allow you to use precision. But if you don't want to do that, or you don't have enough currency to do that, the cheaper option is these gloves right here, which is not too bad either. So let's go ahead and talk about how to craft these gloves. Okay. So super simple, actually. Let's go ahead and take a look at the mods over here. So this is going to be a Searing Exarch implicit. It's the red, it's the red one, and its minions deal increased damage. Actually pretty solid, and it's only a 3.4% chance, so it's not too bad to craft either. And as you can tell here, we're kind of starting at 14 to 16%, and if you really want to go crazy, you can get all the way up to almost 30%. Okay, so how do we craft these? We're actually going to craft these very simply by essence spamming. So let's see where the essences are. You know what? I'm not sure if I've ever have essence spammed on here. Does it even exist? I feel silly. Help. Help, Tom Cruise. Let's go back to calculator. Let's hit essences. Let's hit, so here's what you're going to use, by the way. We're going to use Essences of Fear. Now can we go back to emulator? No. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you guys, we're going to use Essences of Fear, and basically what Essences of Fear are doing is that is giving you increased minion damage, and it's up to 30% as well, which is really, really solid. I'm kind of bummed that I can't show you. There's no way, that makes no sense why we wouldn't be able to do Essences. I feel like I'm literally blind. Oh my god, I am blind. Holy macaroni, it was literally in front of my face. Okay, very good. Let's go over to Essences of Fear, and we're going to just literally spam this on here until we get something good. So we're looking for, I mean, you could really honestly look for a whole bunch of stuff. Now, the reason that I chose Armor and Evasion is because honestly, I am looking for minions deal increased damage, life, and chance to suppress spells. As an armor-based character, we usually don't get that on our gear because we only have armor. But if we have any evasion on your gear, you can potentially roll chance to suppress spells as well. The more armor you or the more evasion you have, the higher the roll chance is. So we don't have too much here, but there is a chance that we could get spell suppression on here. Would be another layer of defense, would just be really solid. So honestly, like, this is not too bad. Like, it's not great, right? But it's not too bad. So we got 2 prefixes and we got 2 suffixes. So technically, right, you could add on like a suffix craft here. You could do like strength and dexterity if you were short on strength and dex. You could do just dex. You could do, you know, a fire and a if you need chaos res, all that jazz. So this could be, you know, a completed item here. So now at this point, we're going to go back over to the Eldritch Crafting. And again, remember it was a red one. So we're going to hit the Greater Ember, and we're just going to start slamming it until we get minion damage. And hopefully it doesn't take too long here. As you remember, it was a 3% something chance, so that's not too bad. We'll get it one day. You just gotta believe in yourself. Do you believe? Feels bad. I think we're on a bad spree here. Oh, I thought we hit it. I don't know why that is what I thought we hit. Come on. As you guys can tell, though, as we're kind of cycling through here, there's actually some pretty crazy... oh, we did it. There's some pretty crazy mods, though. So yeah, so we did it. We got kind of a poopy roll. We got tier 5 roll, which sucks. But, I mean, it's 17% minion damage. Plus, you have the 30%, up to 30% on the craft. So technically, even with a low roll, you're looking at upwards of like 50% increased minion damage for pretty cheap. Like, basically, we just made these gloves for 122 chaos. That's 1 exalt. We just made some pretty solid gloves for 1 exalt. Not too bad at all. So that's how you craft your gloves. Very good. So let's move on to the last piece here, which is going to be the big boy cluster jewel. So let's talk about this first. You can either get an 11 passive or a 12 passive. It's very important that you need to get item level 84. Item level 84 is going to allow you to roll that small passive skills have 35% increase effect. That is very important. I do want to mention here though that 4% increase attack speed that you're seeing right there is actually 3%. I had to manually edit there because it doesn't work in POB very well, so I had to manually edit it. So what you're actually looking for here is 35% and 3% increased attack and cast speed. When you get that 3%, because it has 35% increase effect, it's actually going to bump that 3% up to 4%, and it's actually going to bump that 10% increased damage just from a regular like damage up to a 14%. It's crazy, dudes. And then you have so many passives that, look at this, you're getting like 4% attack speed, 4%, 4%, 4%, and you're getting so much increased attack speed, so much increased minion damage. And ideally, you would also get something like, you could get dexterity on all of these, and that would just completely solve all your dexterity problems. You could get a resistance, and that would give you like, a crap ton of resistances. Or if you really want to be a gangsta, you could get like the T1 life roll, and you would get so much out. You get like an extra 200 life on your build by just this right here. It's absolutely crazy. There's a ton of cool things that you can do with it, but it's kind of expensive. The the 11 passives ones, item level 84, go for about 2 to 3 exalts for the base, and the 12 passive ones, those go for 9 to 10 exalts. I personally always choose to go for the 11 passive. I don't think it's worth that extra 7 exalts, but if you really want to min-max, you can definitely go for the 12. Alright, so I'm not actually going to craft this one fully for you guys, but I'm going to show you how to start it and give you tips on how to craft it, because it does take a lot of currency, and it does take a lot of time. So again, item level 84, we're going to go ahead and proceed, and here's what you do. You're literally going to... noob craft this. Basically we're going to do, and I'll show you what to do. The reason I want to show you guys this is because I want to show you how to kind of get the most bang for your buck when you're doing this, right? So, and I'll just kind of do a couple and I'll show you when we're doing it. Also grant lightning resistance. That's a really low roll, so we're going to go ahead and move on from that. We're going to alteration it. So there you go. We not great. We got 35% increased effect, but we got only 1% increased attack and cast speed. That's poop. We're going to go again. So we got strength. That's not really great. Not great, not great, not great, not great. Renewal. The only one that I would ever suggest as an actual skill, you really don't want skills, because it's better to have the 10 or the 14% minion damage and 4% cast speed. The only one that I would suggest doing is renewal, because that's a 5% more multiplier. But anything else, don't do. And because this also has chaos resist on it, we're not going to do it either. We need to go ahead and move on. So we're going to move on here. These are not good so far. So this one's like kind of decent, and I'll just give you an example, right? So if you kind of find one mod, if it's only got one mod, it doesn't have 2, and it's kind of decent, go ahead and hit it with an augment, okay? And let's just see what happens. So we got Rotten Claws, poop. So let's go ahead and move on. Dexterity, this could be good. If you're lacking dexterity, let's hit it, right? Let's hit it with an augment and see what happens. Poop. Move on. And I'm not sure I'm even going to be able to get close on this for you guys because it takes so long, and I don't really want to spend 10,000 years just sitting here clicking for you guys. I'm hoping I get something at least semi-close so I can show you the pros. +4 all attributes is not bad. Let's hit it with an augment. Poop. But the process is the same here. Basically, I want to get at least to a point where I can regal one. Feels bad. Let's pretend that that's a minions have 3%, okay? We're like, yay, we just got a minions have 3%. Let's gonna augment and fail. Let's pretend again, we're pretending a lot right now, that you hit, you know, another good mod, but you didn't hit 35% increase effect. Let's say you hit like a tier 1 chaos resist roll. At that point, you would go ahead and regal it. But regal it, and then you hope for the 35% increase effect, right? So you're always looking for 2 good mods, and if you get 2 of the, at least one of the mods that you need, and then one other very good mod, you can regal. And if it doesn't work, you gotta scour it. So let's go again. I really want to get at least to a regal for you guys so I can show you. Feasting Fiends is poop. This is not bad, right? So it's 7% cold rest, so I would aug this. Poop. Come on, come on. Feasting Fiends, poop. So 25% increase effect feels bad. You absolutely need 35% increase effect. Call to Slaughter's poop. Call to Slaughter's poop. Rotten Claws is poop. This, by the way, guys, this actually takes a while. This is the best thing that can happen, okay? So if you get the plus 8 to 10 maximum life, that's a tier 1 life roll. Ooh, you're juicy. You're sweating on this augment, right? Bam. Poop. So let's just say that that was, you know, either the 35% increased buff effect, or, you know, increase effect, or the plus 3 to attack speed. You would be juicing at this point, right? And at that point, you're going to be going with your Regal Orb, you're going to slam it, and you're going to hope that you hit it. But if you didn't hit it, feels bad. You gotta scour it and start again. But that's the basic process, right? I'm probably gonna go ahead and stop here because it literally just takes forever to do this, and these are expensive. To get this probably crafted yourself is gonna cost, I don't know, I would say probably maybe 5 exalts, somewhere between 5 and 8 if you're like really unlucky. If you just buy these straight up, you're probably going to pay at least 7. I would say 7 to 10. And then for better rolls, like on the off roll, like if you get something extra good, like if you get a chaos, if you get dexterity, at that point you're looking at paying like 10 to 15 exalts. But this is one of the highest damage boosts things that you can get on your character. It's just expensive. I would absolutely suggest crafting yourself. And personally, what I have even done, like if I'm really trying to hit a tier 1 life plus the 35 plus the attack speed, I'll create one. And if it's good, if I get the 35% plus the attack speed and cast speed, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to make some profit off of it, and I'm going to keep going. Alterations are pretty cheap right now. They're not that cheap, but they're not that expensive. So it's not too bad to craft yourself. I got lucky with mine, and I literally rolled mine in under 200 alterations. Very happy boy. So that made me happy. And I hope that luck goes to you guys, because this can be pretty painful to roll this, but I promise you it's worth it. It's so much extra damage. Cool. So that is all the items on our build. I guess I can mention kind of how to make the Elegant Hubris work. So with the Elegant Hubris, and you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, I am not sure I mentioned this in the guide for the video. I hope I did. If I did not, I'm a terrible content creator, and I apologize. I'll probably go ahead and make an edit in that guide, but I can at least talk about it now. So what this Elegant Hubris is, this is going to come in the version 2 and 3 of the build. It's not in the version 1, but it is in 2. So it is a timeless jewel. It's called Elegant Hubris. It's going to make all of the passives, like these notables, go away. However, it's going to give them new mods. So I'll right click on it here, and it's going to give them any of these new mods. And there are 2 that are for minions. One is increased minion maximum life, and the one that you're looking for is called Slumlord. Slumlord is 80% increased minion damage. Now the good ones will have 3 notables within this little circle that have Slumlord. So as you can see, I have one here, and one here, and that is for a total of 5 points spent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's when you'll hear people say, like, you know, how many points did you spend? This one is 5. Where I would say this jewel becomes relevant and starts being good for your build is only when you get 3 Slumlords. If you only have 2 Slumlords, it's not as good as just getting these nodes right here, because actually we're losing this node and this node because all these little small ones actually go away too. So not great. So we're losing those 2. We are getting these 2 because they're very strong. But if you were having to, and this is a 5 passive one, 5 passive is very good. Most people will find a 7 passive. So for example, like, you know, so let's take away this right here. So now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Most people actually have that happen, and if that happens, you have to remove these 2. So you kind of got to just play with it. You would probably remove these 2 as well, but you just kind of got to play around with it. and I would go no higher than 7 passives. 5 or 7 passives is all you want to do. And at that point, yes, it is worth it, and it is a ton of extra damage. As you can see, let's remove this. Let's kind of fix what we did here. There we go. So let's go back to version 1. So going from version 1 to version 2, it gives it, well, I think we have a couple things changed here, but basically when you get back to it in the guide that I had earlier for you guys, it's about 1,000,000 DPS increase with having these 3 passives. So it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid, and that's going to cost you, if you just buy it straight up, it's going to cost you about 8 to 13 exalts, somewhere in there. But well, so we're talking about the crafting stuff. You can technically kind of craft this yourself and save you a lot of currency. It's pretty simple to do. You're literally just using divine orbs. So you're going to divine orb this a gajillion times, and you're going to put it in. Remember, always put it in this specific spot. We actually are not putting it anywhere else on the tree. Don't put it here. Don't put it here. We're going to put it literally right here. So divine it, throw it back in, and then on your search bar, when you get in your passive skill tree, type in minion. And when you type in minion, it'll kind of light up some of the nodes, and you're hoping that it lights up a ton of nodes in here. And at that point, you check how many passives it takes to get to them. You're either happy or you're sad. And that's the process there. I promise you, if you do it yourself, you're going to save a lot of currency than having to just buy it. And there's no good way to buy it. Like, you cannot buy these on the trade website. The only way that you can buy this is through the TFT Discord. And it's not bad, though, doing that. You can definitely buy them on there. Like, if you go on the TFT Discord, you can search up in the top right-hand corner, and you can either type, like, Slumlord, or you can type Elegant Hubris, and then you will see tons of people selling these jewels. The only thing I would suggest is either buy it from somebody very reputable on the website, they have a high status level, or make them stream the trade, right? So make them show you that, okay, yep, there's a Slumlord there, Slumlord there, Slumlord there, and then you just watch them, go over to walk to you and then trade you, and then it's fine. I've never been scammed. I've never had anyone in my community been scammed, but regardless, I still think it's important just to kind of give you guys that extra little tip there. Cool. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. I hope these little crafting tips helped you guys. Those are the only things that we actually craft for this build. Everything else we are purchasing. The boots are pretty easy to just go ahead and purchase, or you can craft it yourself using whatever method you want. But the more important things here are what we talked about. The gloves, the helmet is probably the most important to kind of make the build work, and then the most damage for sure is getting that wand. So that's all I got on this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys in the next one.